Welcome to another episode of Gleaner Sports Live. My name is Daniel Wheeler, and thank you so much for joining us. Jermaine Johnson has dedicated 20 years to his to his craft in local football, beginning from Tivoli Gardens all the way to England and US before coming back home to spend the last 5 years of his career. Hey, Jermaine.
Well, go up, boss.
Hey, Jermaine. How you doing? How you doing? Thank you so much for coming on.
Yeah, man, I'm my boss. Respect.
Well, obviously, this is hope to have a cool episode. Obviously, you have dedicated 20 years to your craft in local and international football, and it's been a while. So glad to have you on the show.
Yeah, respect my boss.
So what to break things off a little bit, we want to do a little icebreaker game, and we call this game called the one time. So basically, you just have to. I'm gonna ask you 3 or 4 things, and you just have to think of the one thing that comes to mind. You ready?
Yeah.
Okay. So the one player, whether local or international, that influenced your game and influenced, being a footballer.
Yeah, but you named Trevor Spencer. He used to go to St. George's. Them call him Ernie. He was the captain back then. I think it was back in '95, them time there. But he was the one who inspired me to be who I am now. So I always have to give him respect all the time.
Okay. Well, the one moment in your career that you feel that you could change. If there's one moment in your career that you could, change or alter.
The first time I get my contract for Bolton Wanderers, I thought it was just gonna go straight in the team, but it did not happen. So I think right there, I think if I could turn back everything, I could train back then time and try to do better, like training wise, fitness wise, get my knowledge up more and watch better players and try to get encouraged from them.
And of course, the one purchase that you may regret later on, because obviously if as a young player when you get to England, there's that one purchase that you make with a big check that maybe required as a stupid purchase. Was there like a one purchase that you decided to get extravagant on?
No, to be honest, I wasn't like that. I wasn't that type of person. But I think the one purchase that I regret it was my car. When I bought it over in England, it was Honda Civic. So that was the one purchase that. But to be honest, it was pleasing for me to get my first car, so it was good.
And then the one piece of advice that that has always sticks with you, throughout your career.
Carbion always tell me it never finish, no matter how old you are, it never finish. You just have to keep going and keep focus all the time, keep praying as well, and just keep believing in yourself. Every
person that comes on the show, I ask them more about your origin story, and a lot of persons that know about Jamaican local football know that you've been around the block for a while. But for those who need a little bit of a refresher course, how did you manage to get into football, and what gave you the drive to say that I would want to do this as a career?
To be honest, when I was growing up, my grandma used to always buy my football all the time. So I think it was from then I was a keeper at first. I tried to keep her first, but it wasn't working out. And then Claude Davis, I don't know if you remember Claude Davis.
Mm-hmm.
Was the one who really introduced me to St. Aloysius football team. And from there, it was just like that. It take off from there. And the first time I went training was in a cut pants. I can remember the pants, a purple cut pants. Did not have no shoes as well. And that was my first day training, and from there I never stopped. I just keep going.
Well, and your first time that you've played professionally was at Tivoli Gardens, and it feels that you and Tivoli are like this. It is basically a part. Yeah, the club is a part of you. Can you explain and just say in terms of what was that feeling going into Tivoli, starting your career and trying to break in?
Oh, my first time I was a right back. Most people did not know this. I was a right back, and that's where I started my career. And I went to Tivoli when I was, I think, about 15. And the first time I went on the bench, they gave me the number 2 to play against Seba. And I thought I was going to get a game, but I sit out all the game. And the next game, the coach gave me like about 5 minutes. And from there, I just keep stepping up the minutes, keep stepping up, going. And then from there, I just start change my position to midfield. and that's really where I get my bus when I went to midfield. That's I think that's when I was about 16, 17. That's where I really started playing midfield, and I never stopped from there.
Obviously, your concern was just making sure that you get to the first team and you just, you show your stuff. Like, can you just take us back to when you first managed to step up on the field, representing your community? What was it like?
Yeah, that was a big moment for me, to be honest, because you have most of these young players from Tivoli, good players as well, that did not get a chance to play, and for me to get the chance to play with these good players as well, it was like really a step up for me, and I really have to give God thanks for everything that I've been through, the good and the bad. And it was like I was really proud playing for Tivoli Gardens at the time, because I was going to school down there as well, and my name was getting called a lot, so it was really good for me to step out on the pitch, and it was a brilliant pitch as well. I'm playing in Santiago, so that was good.
Good. For a lot of persons who know exactly that, when you go to the GLNR Sports Complex, it's a very especially when the derbies, it's a very intimidating atmosphere, and obviously, as a young player, wanting to do well. Did you feel some sort of intimidation knowing that, seeing from a guy from the community, pushing you to do well?
To be honest, back then it wasn't that bad. Like no, because they used to push the younger players more than the older players. So it wasn't that bad. But no, sometimes I really can't manage it, to be honest. Sometimes the stuff that I hear, not about me, but about other players, it's rough. But I know Tivoli Gardens fans always want to win, and you have to go with the good and the bad all the time. And it's really hard for most players who come from outside to come and play for Tivoli. It's really rough. Sometimes they always ask me, JJ, how you do this, how you do that. And I just have to tell them, just keep their head going and just think about who's on the pitch. Don't think about the fans. When they think about the fans, that's where everything goes wrong. So you just have to just keep going and just play.
But you are definitely continuing your rise through the ranks.
I don't cut it. You get me age wrong.
I did.
Now far to know.
Oh boy! You have been through it. It's been a very long career.
long time, but I give that time to me. Long time.
You see in terms of there's some older players that have managed to at least try keep their fitness and everything. Like for example, Ryan Giggs of Manchester United, used yoga in terms of to make sure to keep his fitness being competitive, in the latter part of his career. How have you managed to, at this late stage, how have you managed, to do it for the last, 5 years or so at Tivoli?
For me, it's easy because most of my friends, they always play football like every day. The only time we don't play football is on a Friday. So it's kind of easy for me. We play scrimmage, 6-a-side every single day. We don't only Friday. We don't play. So we play Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Saturday, Sunday. We play Saturday in the morning, Sunday in the morning, like 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock in the Sunday. So it's always good for me. I just keep going, keep running, keep trying to stay fit with the younger players, younger guys. So it's good for me. So as I say, every day I play football. Only Friday alone, I don't play football. So that's where I get my fitness from.
All your teammates, do they give you in terms of stick that you're the oldest guy on the team?
Every single day, but sometimes I'm moving faster than them. So sometimes it don't bother me. So I'm good. When I get the stick, sometimes I feel like a real old man then. And when I go on the pitch, so I don't really mind. Sometimes it gives me a laugh. Sometimes.
Did you feel especially the last couple seasons? Do you feel that you had a responsibility as to bring the younger guys up?
Yeah, a big responsibility because you have most of these kids, they look up to you for guidance. So you have to just try to keep doing the right thing. You have to just try to keep going. You have to try train the best as well, so they can see and follow the steps. So and then it's like you're a coach as well. So you have to try train them, try talk to them on the pitch as well, try to give them good advice. And sometimes it helps, sometimes it don't help, but at least you're still trying.
One of our viewers just said, you're still young, so if anybody giving you a stick, don't worry yourself.
Oh, man, I'm not worried. I got to start to
Exactly. When you got
that, I get some more stick from Tevin Shaw.
What it was? Well, Tevin Shaw, welcome to the chat. Is there anything else probably you want to give Jermaine Johnson stick for? Apparently, this is going to be the general consensus for the whole hour. So,
Yeah.
so I guess you're gonna have to prepare for that.
Yeah, not a problem.
But you know, when you talked about earlier in terms of wanting to do things over, and you talked about that, you know, being signed to Bolton, I wanted to talk about, first of all, when you got the call and you saw that this opportunity was a real chance, and it was a chance that obviously you must have dreamt of, you know, obviously wanting to play in the big leagues. Can you take us back in terms of to what the process was like when you were trying to decide?
It was, as I say, when you're in Jamaica, you don't really get much advice about when you're younger. Back then, you did not get much advice to step up. It's just like you get the chance and you just have to go out there and just try to be a man your own self. Try to read other players, try to see what other players do. And it was good for me because Baby Gardner was there, so it was good. But sometimes I wasn't around Baby Gardner to get advice. And Baby was young as well. And I was about 2 years younger, so it wasn't really a father figure. It was like more a big brother, and it was kind of hard at first because I was like just in the reserve team for a long time, and then I get a call to play against I think it was against Arsenal. I started the Arsenal game, then Baby get red card in that same game, so it was like 10 against 11, and that's where I play I think I get man of the match as well that match, and it was from there the way I stepped up in that game. They thought I could go higher and higher, but the training was tremendous. It was rough. I never used to them training before. When you're in Jamaica, you just do whatever you want to do back then. So it wasn't like I know what I was getting myself into at the time. Then when I went over there, it was like every day it was like running. So it was a bit rough for me. But then I get used to it. Then I get injured, my knee. So that's where everything went down. Then they bring in JJ Kacha, Yuri Jerkayev, and most of these big players. So, you know, when big players come in, it's going to be hard for a younger player. But I still try to just keep doing my best anyway. But eventually, it did not work out at the time. So, but I still give that thanks to him because that's where I learned everything from to when I went to Sheffield Wednesday. So that was where everything started for me.
Do you feel in terms of now when, you know, Jamaican players are playing in Europe, do you feel that there's a difference in the attitude for Jamaican players when they play in European leagues compared to when you and Baby Gardner were playing at that time?
Yeah, I think the younger players now they learn a lot from us, and they learn a lot from the overseas players as well, because back then it wasn't no YouTube, none of them things to like watch and see the players doing what they're doing, training what they're training, and how they do the interviews and then stuff. So right now it's much easier. So I applaud them to do the right thing and just keep going, just keep focused.
You know, after Bolton, it was a bit of a miss because you went to Oldham Athletic, and then Bradford City, and Bradford actually wanted to keep you, but then you went to Sheffield Wednesday, and that was basically your home for a majority of part of your stay in England. Can you just say how that experience with Sheffield Wednesday was for you?
Sheffield Wednesday was where I find my love for football. That's where I start loving the game again. I start training the right way, playing the right football. Cause that's where I went. They put me on the wing at the time when I went to Sheffield, and everything just take off from there. And that's, as I said, that's where I find my love. And I just keep going. And then till they said I'm a legend, so I don't know where that comes from. So.
You know, usually when you have, you know, club legends, you usually can find mixtapes of yourself on YouTube. And since I have been doing my research, I found 3-4 videos of dedicated to you and your and your time at Sheffield Wednesday. How does that, in terms of, I guess feel that, you know, that you're still being appreciated, for your contributions to the club?
Yeah, it was. To be honest, my son always watch it. Oh, daddy, you're a big baller, daddy, man. You're a big baller. So from I'm hearing from him, so everything is good for me. and then the Sheffield Wednesday fans, they adore me, so it's good.
You said that there was a period that Sheffield, allowed you to find back the love for football. In between the period of Bolton and getting to Sheffield when you were getting into a starting position, what was that in terms of period like, and in terms of, because obviously it must have been difficult to not being able to for the experience not to go as you wanted. How did you manage to persevere through that and to basically find back your love for football again?
For me, everything is a lesson for me. The good, the bad is always a lesson for me. So from Bolton coming up to Sheffield Wednesday, it was just a lesson for me. And then when I reached at Sheffield Wednesday, it was just like, all right, then you have to do this now. You can't be a kid no more. You just have to just keep going, keep doing the right thing, try listen to the coach, try and do the right thing, try training the right way, go to physio, go do your gym work, drink your supplements, try to keep on a diet, try to keep a steady diet so everything can go well. And as I said, everything is a lesson for me. I just learned a lot from Bolton coming up.
Did you feel that you had to grow up a lot quicker than normal when you had to go to England?
Yeah, but I still not grow up yet, still, but no, but yeah, it was you have to grow up at some point, and it was like as I said, when I reached at Sheffield Wednesday, that's where I find myself, and you have to just keep going. There is no more chance after this. There is no more chance. You just have to just keep trying to do the right thing, and then as I say, I try to do the right thing training wise, because if you're not training good, you're gonna be out of the team because you have other good players out there waiting for you to slip up. So you just have to keep doing the right thing. You have to perform as well. Goals, you have to get assists, and just keep going.
Mm-hmm. And you've been doing that at Sheffield, and it feels that you basically found a home there, and as well because you've been through the club through the good times, the times and the bad times. You were a part of that 2012 run to get back into the championship. That campaign, can you describe in terms of what was the mentality like? Because obviously getting promoted must have been very disappointing, and it is very hard for clubs especially when they get to the lower tiers to get back up. So what was the mindset them to make sure to get back at least to the championship?
For that, the chairman always come in the changing room and tell us, he always try to remind us what the task is ahead of us, and we just have to just keep focused and just all the time we have to just keep going, because we know all the teams trying to come and play against us, because I think we was the biggest team at the time in the League One, and then when you go out there, every team tries to beat you, so you just have to just keep focused, try to do the right thing, and just keep out there. You have to with the League One, it was one of the hardest league ever I've played. The hardest league. The pitch is bad. Forget Jamaica, so the pitch bad. The pitch bad. The changing room small. Everything was against us, but we just stick to the task and just go out there every day and try to do the right thing, and we get the results. And went up back to the championship, and as I say, it was rough at first, but we fight it and get our way back in the championship.
People, a lot of persons in terms of whether it's local Jamaicans or international national players, when they think about in terms of the pyramid of English football, they think of the Premier League and then the Championship and League One, but I guess they don't have an appreciation of how much of a slog and how much of a brutal stretch it is for the lower tiers to make sure that you get promoted. I know that describe in terms of that season, but can you just in terms of the pitches and the different atmospheres? But for Jamaicans who don't know exactly how much of a grind it is, can you just tell us in terms of how really difficult it is to get back up?
It's as I say, every game it's like a dog fight. Every game is like a semi-final or a final. You have to just keep fighting because sometimes it's going to be the pitch, as I said, sometimes the pitch is going to be so bad. Sometimes you can't even play the ball on the ground. You just keep bouncing. But you have to just keep going. You have to just fight and keep knowing what you want to do and just go out there and just try to do the best all the time.
Is there in terms of, I guess, a memorable moment from your time at Sheffield? Sheffield, whether it's a goal or a moment or something with your teammates that you remember, that you take with you?
I think when we get promoted back to the championship and see the fans running on the pitch, that was like one of my favorite moments. And then my next one, it was when I scored against Cardiff. That was one of my best goals, so that's always stand up in the back of my head. But as I said, the first one was when the fans running on the pitch. It was like wonderful to see everyone running on and try to cheer the players. I could not move for about 5 minutes because the crowd pulled me back, so I could not move. As I said, Sheffield Wednesday fans, some of the best people, trust me.
Okay. And after your time at Sheffield, you did head to the US and went to a couple of teams there. What made you decide to eventually come home?
It was easy. I get injured again when I was playing for Indy 11. My shoulder, it was broke and slip out, so I did have to do the operation on my shoulder. So I could not do the medical. I would not pass the medical, so I had to come back and play football. So every time I tried to do the medical, I could not pass. So it wasn't my fault. So it was more like an injury fault. That's why I was back in Jamaica. But as I say, I don't regret nothing. Everything is a lesson, and you learn a lot from it. And just try to go out there every time, and just try to put your head in it and pray all the time, and hope everything gets back better for you.
You have traveled, whether through England or the US. But in terms of your experience in England, was you were able to handle the food in terms of the environment or so? What is the one thing about it that that you like about living in England?
Yeah.
Yeah. Can you hear me? Yeah.
Yeah, I hear you. Indy was a quiet place and it was a nice place as well. And the food, it wasn't like me and my brother cook every day named Dan Smart, come from jungle. We always cook, we take turns. Even though sometimes we can't cook still, but we take a turn. So it was a good environment, to be honest. It wasn't too bad because I have somebody who was there for a long time and he knows the place quite well. So it wasn't too bad for me. I enjoyed there.
Did you at least manage to get some traditional Jamaican cooking while in England, even though you don't proclaim to be a connoisseur in the kitchen?
Yeah, which part of that Sheffield, mostly Jamaicans there now. It was mostly Jamaicans in there, so it was always about 5 restaurants you could find with these, and it was good. Jamaican food and the good, but not like my cooking still. You see, so it's good, but not like mine.
So do you profess to say so? Is it so? So have your cooking skills in terms of improved?
Yeah, but I'm gonna cook. I'm gonna cook, but you can't manage right now. I'm not just cooking right now. I'm gonna cook no food, but I'm still bad still, man. Let me try. I'm still like a bad.
If Tevin Shaw is on the chat, they're probably asking you, to put your skills to the test at some point. It's probably going to come up.
He can't cook himself, so he can't cook himself. The man can't.
Whoa! Shots fired. You're probably going to get, the banter is probably going to start, I bet.
Man, they know some about to with it.
But exactly. Well, not just in terms of your club career, but you've had the opportunity of representing Jamaica many times over. Can you just describe in terms of the pride of representing your country, from Tivoli and being able to put on the black, green, and gold?
That's a dream whenever you wear your country colors. That's always a dream, and that's where every baller want to go to play for the country. That's a dream. And for me, play for Jamaica, it was like everything to me. That's where I always think about. When I get called to Jamaica team, is like the best thing, the best feeling, and the players always try to do their best. So it was really a proud moment for me. The first time I get called for Jamaica team was really a proud moment. I'm proud for my grandmother as well. So it was good for me.
I mean, you've mentioned in terms of your grandma and the way that she basically built up your love for the game. So when you got the first call up, what was her in terms of reaction when you told her?
Okay, a long time that I can't remember that. A long time that, but I know she's happy still. That was our dream at the time, to be honest, for me to get called in the Jamaica team. So it was really, as I say, it was a proud moment for me and my family. and my friends. So it was good.
Yeah. I mean, you've been through in terms of a lot of Jamaican, a lot of national squads, and you've got to play with a lot of great local players. Is there one player do you say that this is the best Jamaican national player that I've played with?
For me, I'm gonna sound a bit biased, but Christopher Nicholas, Kima, he was one of the best players I've ever seen play for Jamaica, play football in Jamaica. I don't know if you know much about him, Kima. He used to play for Tivoli as well. He was one of the best players. And then, for me, my favorite player ever to come out of Jamaica, it was Hector Wright. And then you have Tapa with more.
Right. Okay.
Hector Wright. So he was the one who I love to watch with his left foot. I used to go to the stadium and jump the fence, jump the wall to just watch Siba team at the time. So Hector Wright was my favorite player at the time, to be honest, and still is.
Okay. You were a part. I mean, I just want to make sure I clarify. You were, a part of that, the Gold Cup 2017 that made, that made it all the way, to the final, the second consecutive final. Can you describe in terms of that campaign and being on that ride with the team, especially you were getting up advanced in years and to be able to experience a run like that. What was that like for you?
Yeah, at my age, it was really good, to be honest. It was really good from my perspective to go out there and just try to help the players. But Tapa didn't give me much game, but we still love him. But it was a good run to go into the final and just be there to witness the greatness from the Jamaica team. And we just fall short. So it was really a good run for us, to be honest.
And it's definitely because it's the first time that Jamaica has been into back-to-back finals. Finals, and did you feel that in terms of, even though it was crushing to not get to be defeated and not being able to feature as much as you would like, did you feel that even though through the disappointments, you felt that the Jamaican team was in good hands at that point with the players that you were around with?
Yeah, to be honest, that was one of the greatest. I should say the greatest team I've ever played in, and I've been in the Jamaica team for the longest while, and that was one of the greatest teams. Like training wise, like getting together wise, everything was perfect at the time. And as I said, we just fell short, and it was like really, it wasn't disappointing, to be honest, because we never expect to be that far in the league. You understand? So it was really like a dream, to be honest, to go to the final 2 years. So it was really good, and the players was really excellent, to be honest, from start to finish. Training wise, everybody come together, well, unity. It was really up there at the time.
Mm-hmm. Well, one of our viewers, has a question that he wants to ask you. I think King James was asking in terms of how do you well, appropriately named, how do you see Theodore Whitmore as a coach? And and his tactics. You managed to play under him in a lot of national teams. Can you describe in terms of how his coaching style and how does he in terms of like to play from your perspective?
For me, type of football is different from the norm. Type of like when you keep the ball, type of like when you attack, and it was really good. I know Tapa was going to be a coach a long time, because when we used to go to Old City, we used to always watch him writing down stuff, doing stuff, and I did not understand what he was doing. And to be honest, then when I went to the Jamaica team and I saw him like doing his stuff, I was like, whoa, he really stepped it up a further from playing football to a coach, and it was really good. To be honest, Tapa know good, Tapa love football, Tapa like to be a coach, and it was really good to just watch him being a coach. And I think his technical ability as a coach is very good. Most people don't know Tapa that wise, but for me, Tapa really a good coach, and I can say that in front of him or behind him, he's really a good coach.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. What are because there's a lot of persons that I guess whether it's games in terms of tactics, they're not they're on the outside looking in terms of how he decides to let his tactics and how he decides his philosophy of play. But from your side in terms of being able to to see him and to be coached by him, how has he in terms of helped in terms of the team and you especially?
Sometimes it's hard for me to even call Saka a coach because, as I say, I played with him before for a long time, so it was kind of hard at times. But when you're up there and just watching work, it was really good. But as I say, most Jamaicans, they don't see us Jamaicans being a coaching the national team, and that's where we go wrong. So sometimes what we just push the coaches. That's what you're trying to help the players and help the coaches. You just have to just be 100% behind the coaches and stop thinking about foreign coaches coming to help us, because most of us coaches in Jamaica, I think, we're really technical wise, we're really good because we watch a lot of football and we see a lot of stuff that we can change and make players better. And as I said, Tapa, technical wise, he's very good. I think he's very good.
This is a very, in terms of, big year, World Cup qualifiers. Obviously, we'll have to wait in terms of what the format is going to be like. But from your perspective, the current group of Jamaican players for the national team, how excited are you for the players that are coming up? For example, Leon Bailey and Shamar Nicholson, who have been doing well in Europe. And for those, and as more local players get their shots in different leagues, how excited are you for the trajectory of Jamaican football and for us to get back into a World Cup?
I think the only thing missing is me together to the national team. They're the only somebody missing. They need to come back. Let them go World Cup. I just honestly, but
what do they say? They need to bring back Teddy.
Yeah, they need to bring back
Teddy. Bring back Teddy.
But we're in a good hands. We're in good hands, to be honest. When I watch a team play, I think we have all the right attributes, all the right players to go out there and just do the right thing. We have wingers who can cross the ball. We have center forwards who can score, and we have defenders who can defend. To be honest, so we just need to just stay focused, do the right thing, try to stay on the right path, and just don't think about the World Cup at the time. Just keep taking a game at a time and just go out there every game, pray, try to do the right thing, stay focused on yourself, and just do everything the right way.
It's going to be the format's going to be quite different because of the coronavirus pandemic. Usually it's the hexagonal round, and how brutal that kind of stretch that is. With expected changes from CONCACAF expected next week, do you feel that whatever changes that will happen will affect the chances of getting through to 2022?
No. As I say, we just need to keep focused, do the right thing. That's going to help us, and just don't worry about nothing else. Just stay on the right path. Just play our football that we know we can play and get the goals.
Well, exactly. Because you've been playing back at Tivoli for the last 5 years, and you've been a mentor to young players and everything. And this season, obviously hampered and eventually cancelled for COVID. And you had hints about whether you decide, okay, fine, I'll come back for another season or everything. And you said that you may not. This may be in terms of retirement and everything. So I'm here to ask you: is this in terms of saying goodbye to football, at least professionally, or are you trying to give it some thought to see if you want to come back for another year, permitting that we have?
The mind still a running. The mind still a run.
Yeah, man, go ahead.
If not, you understand. The mind still a run if I'm a player or not. But to be honest, it's up to my body if I can manage. To be honest, it's up to my body, my knees. It's up to my knees because to be honest, since I done the operation on my right knee, it's always been a problem. To be honest, I'm not doing much work on it. That's my fault though. I'm not doing much work on it, but I think I've one season leave. But as I say, I just have to keep training, keep running down these younger players and see if I can manage them. Once I can manage them, then I know I'm ready. But in my head, I'm not finished.
Well, and I had a recent conversation, with Tivoli head coach Philip Williams, and you are integral, in terms of to the team, and he wants you back. He wants you for another season. He wants you to be in the team in terms of not just in terms of the play, but the guidance that you give him. So it's it's credence in terms of to. Yeah, come on, everyone says you have one more season.
Kick it more, kick my money, more kick me.
Oh gosh.
That's why I want to play, bro.
That's not fair. Why would you want to do that? That's so wrong. That is so wrong. You don't want to abuse a 40-year-old guy. That's wrong. Come on now.
That's it, go on. Yeah, sorry about that. Wait, that's it. Sorry about that.
Yeah, man. No, I was saying in terms of, your head coach Philip Williams wants you back, and it's communicating, how integral a part of you, that you are to the team. How much of that, you have vote of confidence from your head coach, basically factoring into the decision of whether you want to play for to give it one more go for one more season.
For me, once you get in the backing from the coaches, that's a lot for me. And once he's doing that for me, then I can give him a next season with ease. Because trust me, he's a very good person. Admiral as well, good person. And I love playing for Tivoli Gardens. That's my favorite place to be honest. So me playing for Tivoli it's not hard. But as I say, it's up to my body to be honest. It's up to my body if I feel once I start training and then I feel good, then I'm going to give it the next season. But if I'm not feeling good, I'm just going to try to help out in the coaching department.
So what and what? Well, this is the thing there. After whether you decide whether it's one season or not, you're definitely interested in coaching and taking that route.
Say that again.
No, I was asking, once whether it's next season or this season, they're deciding whether to call it quits. You're interested in getting into coaching.
Yeah, that's what I want to be honest. But if I'm not playing, I'm going to be a coach, and that's a must. Because I want to give back my knowledge to the younger players and to the other players, the older players as well who are still in the league. So that's a part of my plan to be a coach, and me being a coach at Tivoli, that's going to do a lot for me, and that's going to be a big step up for me as well. So I'm just going to try to do my best, take it from the coaching staff, learn from them, and try to do what I can do as well.
Yeah. How important it is in terms of for players that have that are well traveled as you and have seen in terms of played in different leagues and have managed to contribute at home. How is important for guys like yourself to get into the coaching to contribute to Jamaican football in that way?
It's always important to be honest, because where we went, we learned a lot. And then you have big coaches as well, important coaches as well. So you have to just keep watching them and try to do the best all the time to try to give back, because you have so much important players as well in Jamaica. And they can step up as well to be in England or Belgium, wherever in Europe. So we just have to just come back out here and just try to do our best for them so they can see what's the right thing to do and just go over there and just try to do the best and play for some of the biggest clubs in the world.
Okay. Just in terms of last season, with Tivoli before, the pandemic happened and the cancellation of the league, it was a very, you agreed to come back for this season, and it was obviously a very, very rough season, with the unfortunate passing of club president Edward Siaga. And you said in many interviews that he was, integral for you. And in terms of important parts, of your football and development, not professionally but personally, how was it important for that entire season, not just for you but for the club, to every day put on a performance in his memory?
It was an important season for us, but we started off very, very bad, but we step up back in the third round, and it was really important to get the competition for Mr. Edward Siaga. It was like that's his dream, to win back the league before he passed away, and that was really our aim, to just go out there and just try to do our best for him and try to get the W for him. But as I said, it was important as well for us as players to try to get the win for ourselves as well, to just do our best and try to step up and get the call for the Jamaica team and try to get contract as well. So it was important for the players as well.
I mean, you guys were struggling in the first at the end of the first round and closer to the second, but you managed to go on a tear since the new year, and you guys never stopped. What was it? I know there may be some key factors that led into a run that managed to get you into the playoff position for the first time all season before the cancellation. But what was it that, I guess, triggered in terms of the fight back?
To be honest, we were playing good football at the time. We were playing really good football, but I did not think we were fit enough. Because we always getting deep in the 70th minute or the 75th minute. So it wasn't fit enough. And when Admiral come in, it was just like a war every day in training. We just try to just keep fit and just keep running, keep our fitness up. And I think that's where everything starts, from the fitness and then the football just come together. And that's where we start playing some good football again. And then everyone started believing in themselves as well. So it was really up to Admiral helping out Philip to be the person who is, and just go out there every day and try to do the best. And we start getting the wins, and that's where we end up in the playoff for the first time. And we were really happy. But then the pandemic come and mash up everything, so it was really tough for us, to be honest. It's like we just train for nothing. And the pandemic, it was a much more important situation than football at the time. So we were upset, to be honest, for the season to finish. But I just said it was a bigger picture for the health of the country and the players.
Yeah. And during that time, how have been you as one of the elder statesmen on the team and as a team managed to come together during the pandemic? Because obviously there were a lot of more important things that you had to focus on. But how has your team managed to band together during the crisis?
Oh, we have a group on WhatsApp, so that's where we always try to talk to each other. We always try to go on each other sometimes and sat there and see each other. Or if there's a party, we try to go, but we see far away from each other. But that's where we really get together more. It's just on the WhatsApp group. That's where we talk, tell each other happy birthday, WhatsApp. That's mainly where we start everything on the group.
Mm-hmm. Well, the fact is that hopefully that there is a season this year. And I guess if this was your last season, obviously it's not the way that you would want to sign off. You obviously, the dream is you want to, finish it on the field. But if this is, yeah,
this was going to be the last season, to be honest. But
I
don't see myself finishing like this. It was like I did not get complete my task, to be honest, because I wanted to win the league, and then the season just finished as well at that time. So I did not get to fulfill my dream of winning the league again, and I just have to just keep going. If I can't manage, as I said, can't manage the coaching staff or the president or the club don't want me anymore to be a player, I just have to understand and just try to do something else, coaching wise or something else, to benefit myself or the players.
Mm-hmm. I mean, obviously, what factors into a kind of decision like that? Is it something? Is it something that that your son might help you with, or your significant other or your family? Is there people that you have to talk to see exactly which is the best course of action that you want to take?
To be honest, you talk to people, but it's your decision, to be honest, at the end. Yeah, and you have to do the right thing that's going to benefit you. You understand? You have to do what's going to help you in the longer run. And you just have to just pray to God that you're making the right decision, and just do anything you think you have to say, you just try to do it. But for me right now, my heart is telling me to play. Even though some people is going to say I'm old enough to can finish the league or whatever, can go sit down, whatever. They have their own decision. They have their own opinion on me. And I have my own decision what to make. So I don't care about what people want to say about my age or whatever. I just have to just go out there and prove them wrong each day. Even though I'm doing that for the longest time, proving people wrong, I just have to keep just doing the right thing all the time. I don't follow the crowd. Just go out there, train. If I can manage to play, then I'm going to play.
for someone that, obviously well traveled, and for local players that, want to, seeking, to break out and live their dreams, playing, in Europe. You have managed to do that in England. What is the kind of advice that you want to give youngsters when they hopefully make that transition to make sure that they are successful?
The first advice is just try to believe in yourself. That at all time, pray, and then remember, when you get the contract, that's where everything starts. Training, everything. That's where everything takes place. Listen to the coaching staff. Try to take on some other players out there, and just try to do the right thing at all times. Just believe in yourself. That's the most important thing for me. If you don't believe in yourself, you're never going to get nowhere.
There's a lot of, because there's a lot of persons, local players, when they go to, I guess, when they get the contract and they go overseas, there may be some misconceptions of what, I guess, they thought they were getting into, when they're playing football overseas, and you have been through that. So if there is one thing that you would like to tell them to, I guess, the pitfalls to avoid, what would be in terms of the kind of pitfalls that you would want young players to really avoid?
Just don't believe you're still in Jamaica. Just know this is a different country, different environment, different people. They watch everything, the coaching staff, management staff. They watch the smallest set of things, and they use it against you all the time because you come from a small country and they don't think you're supposed to be where you're at. So in every situation, you have to just keep going, no matter what. You never know who is watching you. You just have to keep going, keep training, keep fighting, because you have other players going to come in and try to take the place. So they just have to just keep themselves the right way, motivate themselves, just whatever, and just learn from other players as well, and just keep fighting for your spot.
But the last thing I wanted to do, we did this with one of our guests, and he wanted us to, even though I've prepared you before, we challenged him to do an all-time best Jamaican 11. So in terms of what will be, in terms of the players you want to put in that 11, if you had to choose an all-time Jamaican best 11.
Best 11?
Yes, best 11. And if you want to include yourself, in that 11, then, I won't say anything.
Best 11. All right. You have Esley Scott, Robbie. That's my favorite goalkeeper.
Mm-hmm.
Right back, Fabian Davis. Patty Brown. Then you have Linval Dixon. Then
Linval Dixon at left?
Yeah, Linval Dixon at left, yeah. Then you have Bibi, left back. That one the easy. Wow. Yeah, but you named Kareem Cook, Mitch. Used to play for above you. In play central. But I put him as central.
Okay.
Good, big player, big player.
Okay.
Then you have so I go play 4-4-2. Yeah, then you have Tapper.
4-4-2, okay.
4-4-2, then you have Tapper. Jeez. Now I put Jeremy and you on the left. Whoa.
Jermaine, you on the left, and who gets on the right?
I'm gonna mix up my thing, I'm gonna put I'm gonna put Leon. I put Leon Bailey on the right.
Leon Bailey on the right.
The two of them can switch. Oh my days. Forward. Me have to put Blacks.
Who?
I'm gonna put Blacks, and then I'm gonna put Nandi.
Okay, on Nandi Low.
And
then his strike partner, Blacks, is?
Walter Boyd.
Walter Boyd. Yeah, right.
But no, we can't win with that.
Well, there may be various, players that might have different. So what you have, just run it by me again. You have Robbie Scott, goalkeeper.
Yeah.
Fabian Davis at right back.
Yeah.
You have Sir Brown at centre back.
Yeah. Then
Yeah,
Linval Dixon.
Dixon.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
And Ricardo Gardner.
Yeah.
All right.
Then
Kareem Cook.
Then Chopper.
Yep, then Theodore Whitmore, Jermaine Hugh, Leon Bailey, Walter Boyd,
Yeah.
and Anandi Lowe.
Yeah, that's my favorite team right now. Even though we still can change.
So you don't know if you can win. You don't know if you're coaching if you can win that team.
No, I'm confident, man. I can switch up the midfield. I'm confident. I can switch up the midfield with ease. I can have a diamond. So I can switch up the midfield.
Yeah, all right. One of our viewers, Ollie Gwenda, said Jermaine Johnson, he's faster than Bolt.
Yeah, that is a Sheffield Wednesday fan. that's the standard thing.
You have a lot. We have some Sheffield Wednesday fans in the chat as well.
Yeah, that's the standard thing for me. Jermaine Johnson, he's faster than Bolt. He's faster than
Bolt. And ironically, I did as I was doing my research, I did see when you scored one of your goals, you did a sort of Olympic celebration with one of your teammates. Yes, was that planned?
No, we always think about it in our training. We always do it in our training, so it was just a good moment, to be honest. It was like an iconic moment for us at the club because they still have the pictures and those stuff as well with it. So it was an iconic moment, to be honest, at the club.
Well, you know that you've made it at the club when the fans have a chance, especially for you. What did that mean in terms of them singing your name amongst the terraces?
Yeah, when you hear your name, to be honest, in Sheffield Wednesday, you read somewhere. So it was a good look for me. They have all type of songs for me, to be honest. So it was a good look for me. They have one named Rita Johnson, Jermaine Johnson, and they do the dance. So it was like when you listen to them songs, and they still sing it now, up to now, to be honest. They still sing it up to now. So when they sing it, they always like send videos to my Instagram. So it's always lovely, to be honest, to see them stuff again.
But you still, I know that obviously, you keep, in touch with what's going on with Sheffield Wednesday, still in the championship, after, finishing in the, the bottom, not the bottom half of the table, but in the lower tier half of the table. What do you hope that, that you can see Sheffield Wednesday, get promoted to the Premier League one of these days?
Yeah, to be honest, whenever you see Sheffield United or league going up, it's always give you a downer, and you always want to see your favorite club to go up. But I think we have time. We still have time to do the right thing and watch some good players. We just need to do the right thing and just go out there and just play every day. I think the problem is with Sheffield Wednesday, we never seem to believe ourselves to go to the Premier League, and I don't know why is that. It's always baffling me, to be honest. But the fans, as I said, brilliant. The fans are brilliant. They're always singing, no matter if they're losing or what. They're always singing.
And just one more, and there's at least one more question before we get out of here.
No problem.
R.Y. Moritz wants to know, which was your favorite goal for Wednesday? Mine was the one away at Scunthorpe, or was it the goal against Yeovil?
That Yeovil one, I did not even remember that one. That one was a brilliant one as well, but as I said, my favorite goal, it was against Cardiff. It was on the Valley, so that was one of my favorites.
Against Cardiff.
Yeovil goal as well was a brilliant one as well. I think my back was turned as well, and I just turned and shoot, went up to the top corner. So, and I think I just come back from injury as well. That was my first match from my knee surgery. So that was a really good goal, to be honest.
Well, you see, in terms of the amount of comments in the chat, that there's a lot of Sheffield Wednesday fans that still appreciate the good work, and you've been a good servant to the club.
Yeah, to be honest, it was
exactly.
That's where I start back everything for football. My love. That's where it all came back for me.
Well, Jermaine, thank you so much. It's been really, really fun, to chat with you about, your journey and it's official. You've declared it official here that you are not ready to say goodbye
No,
to football
not really.
professionally yet. You still have, you're still
Just have to go out there and just play.
exactly. No matter say that if you're too old, or whatever, you're not ready to say goodbye yet.
No, not yet. Not on their time, on my time, on God time.
Excellent. Well, we hope. Well, if we hopefully that we have local football later down this fall, and hopefully we will see you back. Playing football this season to sign your career off the way that you want.
True. That's it.
Exactly. Thank you so much, Jermaine. Really appreciate it. Make sure that you like the video, subscribe to the Jamaica Gleaner YouTube channel. Make sure that you follow our page on Instagram. We'll have another great guest for our next week episode. Thank you for tuning in on behalf of the production team. My name is Daniel Wheeler. Thanks so much. See you next week.